according to cloud. Okay, we're good to go. So good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this evening for our introductions to essential oil class. Myself and Sham, just to confuse you, Charmaine and Sham will be presenting today. And to introduce myself first, so my name is Charmaine. Some people know me as Heket as well. We can get into that later. My background is in herbal medicine, so I guess a lot of my origins stem from natural, leaning towards natural methods of healing anyway, for around cleansing. I also ran womb cleanses for many years, one-to-one, and then online, which I do now as well. I deal with womb healing in general regards to more specific ailments and needs, so fibroids, endometriosis, polycystic ovaries, and any other challenges around that. Fertility as well. I'm a pregnancy yoga teacher, a birth doula, and a baby yoga teacher. So that was kind of my area, very much around the females, to be honest, was my specialism. And then around 3 years ago, I was introduced to Doterra's Essential Oils, which allowed me to expand out to everyone, the whole family, males and females as well. And really, I had a passion for this work anyway. It was something that came very naturally to me, and it made sense for me to link in the essential oils with what I do. I wanted to make sure that I had the best quality of oils and the best quality of products for my clients. Specifically, as I know the challenges that people have around womb ailments and fertility, we had to make sure you had really natural products. And also I was around a lot of pregnant women who couldn't take pharmaceutical medications, so it made sense to connect with the essential oils. And just to let you know, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. We're going to do questions at the end of the class as well today as well. So pop them in the chat or just keep them ready, take notes as well. Yes, so for me, it kind of made sense. And when I first tried the oils, I just thought, I'm just going to try it with my family, see how I go before I start sharing, just to see. I knew essential oils were something that were quite effective, and I was using it anyway. I did train as an aromatherapist specifically for pregnancy and birth. So I had a general knowledge of essential oils with that additional qualification as well. However, I just didn't know how vast the healing was around the essential oils, and that's what really excited me about them. So around 3 years ago, my daughter was probably around, she's young at the time, nearly 4 years ago now, because she's 5. She was about 1.5 years, 18 months, and she got the flu. And it's always quite scary when you have very young ones that are unwell and have fever, etc. I would always use very natural products. That would be my go-to. And I have Calpol at home, I still do, in case of emergencies, though I don't have to use it very often. But I would try and use more natural products, lots of fluids, things like that to support them. And it would take around 4 or 5 days to a week for them to recover from being quite well from something viral like that, a flu, cold, etc. So when that happened with the essential oils, I knew which ones to go for as I'd been studying, and grabbed those 3 oils, so peppermint, on guard, and oregano oil. And those are my go-tos. And I put some along her spine, so I knew how to bring her temperature down. Though you have to be mindful when you're dealing with fever. So fever is necessary for killing the bacteria or the viral infection in the body. So we have to allow ourselves to have fever for a period of time, but it must break. So that's really important, especially for the very old and the very young in particular. But everyone should know, after around 4 hours, you want your fever to break, and then you're allowed to have that fever again, because it's actually helping to kill what's going on inside the body. So I use the oils on her that night every 3 hours. And we do it every 3 hours, almost like medicine, because it takes 3 hours to leave the body. And by the next day, she was much better. She slept, she was breastfeeding at the time, and that's the thing I noticed the most. She slept through the night, and by the next day, she was much better. The day after, it took about 2 days for her to recover so quickly, and I'd never known anything natural to work so quickly, so I was really impressed by that. And then the second time, probably 2 weeks later, my son came down with the flu as well. He had just started reception class at that time in school, and I was called on a Thursday to go and pick him up. And he's got fever, he has to go home. So I picked him up, he was on fluids, and I used the same essential oils every 3 hours for him that day. By the very next day, he was well enough to go back to school, and even the teachers were shocked to see him. He was fine, he was well enough to go back and doing really well. So that was my wow moment with the essential oils, and that's why I'm so passionate about them, and I really wanted to take in more learning and understanding about them as they go. So I've got my colleague here as well, so I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Sharm's one of my very first customers and went on to building the doTERRA business with me as well. So anyone who'd listened, I told about the oils once I knew how powerful they were. And Sharm was the very first person, one of the first people I told. So Sharm, I'm going to let you introduce yourself before we get on with the presentation.
Ah, that's nice. I was your first, was I?
Yeah, first. Well, there's three of you, but you was out of the three, the first three people I talked to.
I got straight in there. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us in our essential oil session, and it brings us pleasure to share these amazing oils with you. My experience really being a wellness advocate, just passionate about health and wellness, and about addressing my health and well-being using natural solutions. And so when I got into the whole natural world, it really was about addressing my health challenges and the challenges that my family had. So the whole oils experience just complemented where I was at the time anyway. And as Charmaine said, she tried the oils and was blown away by the experience that she had. And being as through my wellness journey and using natural modalities, Charmaine and I connected, and that encouraged me to really take on board all of what she had to say, because she was a guru. She was a person I would look to, as well as other naturopaths who I also connected with. So just taking control of my own health and well-being and that of my family just became everything. And when I was able to address health conditions naturally, that was it for me. I was into grabbing anything that was natural, whether it was to address my diet, anything that I was ingesting, my environment, all of that is taken into consideration. And joining Charmaine with the oils was like a no-brainer. It literally was like, no, I'm going to have this. I mean, I had dabbled in oils before, using them in the tea burner, with the water on top, and you drop the oil on top in the candle, which isn't the ideal way to use oils at all. And you're going to learn a lot more about the best way to use them. But that's how I was using them. And it really was more about the aroma, the sweet smell that would just, vibrate through your house, etc. And that was what it was about. I didn't understand the real power behind oils. But later on, as I said, as you start to become more aware of what your body needs and what you can use naturally, then you start to delve down in different areas, and oils became apparent to me through the environment, through the individuals that I was surrounded by. I started using what I thought were good grade oils. Oils, some of them were called organic. So I thought I was really onto it. And I think the turning point for me was when I tried to address a sore that my mum had. And I just drew for Holland and Barrett oils. I was just like, I'm going to just follow this book, work on this sore and get this thing moving. And I started to see a change in what was going on with this sore that my mum had. And I thought, oh, there's something really in this. And then eventually heard Heck talk about the oils that she used for the kids. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm at a point in my life where I really want to understand more about oils. Why are all these oils on the market named natural? What makes them all natural? And I just didn't have that understanding. So it was the right time for me to jump on board, get my kit. As Heck told you, I was the first one. I just ran with it. I trusted the process. I used the oils specifically on family, and especially for a relative who has dementia. And I really wanted to see how these oils were going to connect with my family member, and just totally profound. Using them topically is just totally amazing, as you will hear as we go through the presentation. So that's led me to then develop myself further in oils. And so I'm an aromatherapy advisor, and I support people with emotional situations, ongoing situations. And we use the oils to create shifts, reframing the thinking and the mindset, and empowering individuals to take control of your emotions. I also am trained in an aroma touch technique, which is also to do with the oils, and it's all about bringing harmony and balance to the body. I also do some health scans, and you'll hear a bit more about that a bit later, where again, we look at the imbalances and the stresses that are in the body, and we address those with oils and other products. And finally, I also organize a pop-up market, and you'll hear a bit more about that. And especially if you have business, or if you're interested in any health or wellness modality, you might want to connect with me, and we have a platform in which we can showcase your work and your services. So we'll talk about that a bit more later on.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sham. That's brilliant. Thank you. So we're going to get ready to get into our presentation. So just bear with me. I'm just going to share on the screen so I can bring the presentation up. Let's hope this goes well today. Let's try this first here. Share screen. I'm going to go this way. So, okay, so hopefully everyone can give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Sean, perfect, thank you. So, Doterra Pure Grade Essential Oils, a natural healthcare solution. So I've mentioned how powerful the oils are, and they're pure essential oils, and really, really naturally made. So you heard Sean mentioning earlier about grabbing oils from Holland and Barrett, and sometimes you will go out onto a market and grab oils from, you know, different shops in even well-known health food stores or well-known stores, and it sometimes will say 100% pure oil. And because our essential oils are not regulated as well regulated as they could be, they're allowed to say 100% because they may have used 100% oils but then added fillers and different things into that essential oil, and that's now made it not so pure. And this is why often you will say for external use only, because it's not safe for you to take internally, and that is why, but we'll talk about that a bit further as we go on. So this is not just dealing with our emotions, this is also dealing with our health and healing. So what is an essential oil? It's a natural aromatic compound found in plants, steam distilled or cold pressed extraction, powerful and safe benefits without side effects. So yes, we have our dosages and things that we should use for adults, children, etc., but you're not going to get this kind of side effects and concerns that you would get with normal pharmaceuticals that are out on the market, but they're just as powerful, if not more powerful, than any form of medicine that you might be taking as well. And why choose Doterra Essential Oils? Well, the reason is some of the things we've talked about already. They are pure, they're safe. I can use them with newborn babies. Historically, I wouldn't be able to use essential oils with babies under the age of 1. So I can use them with newborn babies, pregnant women, elderly, younger. They're really pure and really safe, and it can be used safely for the whole family. So they're certified pure grade. So what does this mean? So they're pure, no natural artificial ingredients, fragrances, or fillers. And I've mentioned the vast majority of essential oils on the market do have these fillers, which is why we can't take them internally, why we can't take them, why they could be seen as dangerous, but known as not so much dangerous, but not safe to take internally, and why you only have to use it externally. However, if you think about something that you can't put on, should you be able to, whatever you can't put into your mouth, should you really be able to put it onto your body? So think about how porous our skin is. You have to be thinking about that as well. They're safe, certified to be free of pesticides and any other chemical residues. So we are now thinking about things that are dealing with our toxic load, and we'll talk about that in general, and that's why a lot of doTERRA products are amazing, because it helps us to reduce our toxic load. So what do I mean by toxic load? Things we put on every day in our life. It's not just one thing, it's not just the environment, or it's not just the pollution in the air. It is your makeup, it is your body cream, it's your shampoos, your conditioners, your washing powders. All these things contribute to your toxic load and what your liver is having to deal with on a day-to-day basis, which can be quite challenging. Could I ask everybody to mute their mic, please?
Not going out every day.
Oh. Let me have a look, see if I can do it for you. I think we're muted now. Thank you. Sorry about that. Yes, so it is really important for us to be mindful of these things. And it's not just one thing, it's things that happen over the years. So something called parabens. These are preservatives in many products that we use day to day for our skin, for our hair, for etc. So it's really good because now we see a lot more paraben-free products out on the market, and we want to encourage things like that. So we're reducing our toxic load. We might not be able to take it away completely, but we're working towards that. So chemical-free, pesticide-free is really important. They're potent and they have standardized active compounds. So Doterra are based, the company and the founders are based in the US. However, they source their essential oils globally for a really good reason. So this kind of takes me back into my kind of herbal medicine training, knowing that where a plant grows indigenously, that is where you'll get the most benefit from that plant, and not just indigenously, making sure that it's grown in a space where it's organic and natural. We're taking from the lands, and when you're taking from the lands, that is done in a way that we're protecting the land and not over farming, and that's one of the big reasons I was really attracted to Doterra, because I saw that kind of support and care of the environment. If you have an understanding of plants that may grow in harsh conditions, so we are dealing with essential oil, which is the immune system of a plant, and we have a very similar molecular structure as essential oils. As plants. So therefore, when we use them, they can affect us in the same way. So if you're thinking about the immune system of a plant that grows in a very harsh environment, plants are not like us. They can't run away from predators and things like that. So they have to protect themselves in their space. And this is why these oils are so powerful. And this is why it's so powerful to source oils, not just farmed anywhere that they're put through, that they're sourced from where they grow indigenously. So for example, we might get lavenders from France and Belgium. We will have our lemons from Sicily and our limes, for example. So where it goes indigenously is really important. Doterra Healing Hands Foundation, another thing that really attracted me about Doterra is that when they are going into countries that are dealing with deprivation or issues going on in their countries, there was a lot of issues around perfume companies, for example, taking advantage of local people that are living in the area and not paying them what they should for the produce. When Doterra has been able to go into certain areas, they're able to pay farmers what they should be paid, and they're also setting up schools and the healthcare centres and using essential oils to support people in those communities. In Nepal as well, when they had the tragedy of the landslides, they were supporting in that area. And I think what was really powerful for me when I went to my first convention, which was about 2.5 years ago, which was in London, it's one thing seeing pictures. They had people who traveled over from Africa, over from Nepal to talk about their story and their journey and how it's benefited from them. And that really kind of was really powerful for me. So I wanted to make sure I was aligning myself with the company that I'm connected with my morals and what I thought was important for being able to share these oils and making sure those who are helping us to grow the crops are being well supported as well. So, okay, essential oil uses. So they can be used aromatically, so in the air, most of people will know that, diffuse in a room to purify the air, to change emotion and for our health and healing. So cold air diffusers are really important to use. Shah mentioned earlier, most of us used to burn essential oil on a candle because we didn't know any better, but this is actually not good to do because it's actually heating up the oil too much and it's changing the structure of the oil and it's not making it as effective. Where if you have a cold air diffuser, the mist is not changing the structure of the oil and you're getting all the benefits you should be from that essential oil. Topically, so apply directly to the skin during massage or therapy. So most of us know topically is a way to use the essential oils. So how we would use them is generally with the carrier oil. It's really important to try and use it as a carrier oil. Sorry, if you just joined us, could you please mute your mic, please? Thank you. Perfect, thank you. So if we're using it topically, So for an adult, you would use 3 drops of the essential oil to around 5 ml of carrier oil. So that's about a teaspoon of a carrier oil. And we'd use our areas, our go-to areas are usually under the feet, because under the feet are the biggest pores in our body, and the oils move systematically through our body. It takes around 20 minutes or so for that oils to move from your feet to your brain. You would use it on area of issue as well. So if you had a tummy ache, you would rub it on your tummy, an area of issue that you might be happening. If you're just using it for calming, you would just maybe just breathe it in. If you're using it for something around the chest infection, etc., you would rub it on the chest, so area of specific issue. If you were younger, so children, we usually take 10 drops to 5 ml to 10 ml for children ages, I would say 2 to 12. It will vary, you know, per child as they grow, etc. And then for young babies, children under the age of 2, and especially babies under the age of 1, newborns, you would use 1 drop to 10 ml, so more carrier oil. And if it's a newborn baby, I usually say from birth to 8 weeks, it would just be under the feet, because that oil is going to move very quickly through their very small young bodies. If they were 8 weeks and older, you can rub it on the area of issue. So what I tend to find with most of my clients, it is tummy issues. It's stuff around digestion and colic, etc. So we'd rub the oil on their tummy or under their feet if they're a lot younger. So that is how much oil. So you don't need to have very much oil at all for it to be beneficial. If you're using it as a method of just protection or prevention, you would use something once, you know, you could just use it once a day or whenever, you know, you feel like you need to do that. If you were very unwell and dealing with the illness, a specific illness, we use the oils every 3 hours, like I mentioned, because it takes 3 hours for the oils to leave the body. So you're just topping up to make sure that oils can do their thing in your body for that period of the time that you're using the oils. And then we can consume them as a dietary supplement for targeted wellness. So internally, so what we tend to do is use vegetable capsules rather than vegetable oil. So some of our essential oils already come with pre-made capsules. But we tend to use, I don't know if you can see me now, because I can't see my camera yet. So we get vegetable capsules that we get from Doterra, and they're empty, and we might put 3 to 6 drops of essential oil if you're using 2 or 3 different oils. So for example, if I'm just thinking about protecting myself from viral infections and things like that, I'll probably put 3 drops of oregano, 3 drops of On Guard, for example, on there, and take that for the day. If I was unwell, I might do that every 3-4 hours, as well as use it topically or use it aromatically. So that's one way of using it. It depends on the oil. If it's quite strong, you might want to use the capsules. You could just put a few drops in water, lemon and things like that as well. It depends on the oil and the taste and yourself as well. So those are the ways you can use it. Okay, essential oil safety. So they're very safe and gentle without side effects, like I've mentioned. We will say warning to keep out of eyes, ears, and nose, really important. If you would have something like an ear infection, we would rub the oil behind the ear, but we wouldn't put it in. Sometimes you could put a few drops on some cotton wool and just put it just outside the ear, but you wouldn't pull it right in the ear, excuse me. Dilute with a vegetable oils, not water. So if you're having any kind of reaction and sensitivity to the oils, which is very rare, but if you do, you just add extra vegetable oil. So we're talking fractionated coconut oil, avocado oil, any of the natural oils out there you can use as a carrier. Skin sensitivity, primary safety use. So what I usually say, if you are a particularly sensitive person, try just 1 drop in the palm of your hand. And if you see a blemish or something come up, that might say that you need a bit more carrier oil, and just to be a bit mindful for sensitivities. And then you can follow the label instructions. But like we say, it is very, you know, they're very, very safe to use. The only other warning would you say are citrus oils, to be mindful in regards to being in the sun. So if you're going to be out in the quite hot sun, it can burn the skin. So we'd be mindful not to use citrus oils in the, you know, in the hot sun directly on the skin. You'd be better off taking that internally if you needed the benefit of the citrus oil, or diffusing it. Okay, and how essential oils work in our bodies and how it's effective. So this is quite an important area to think about. Our cells are oil-based. Again, if anyone's joined us, could you mute your mic for me, please? Thank you so much. So our cells in our body are oil-based. And when viruses attack us, they tend to go right into our cell and spread as they do. So most pharmaceuticals, generally, historically, pre-COVID, you were told to go home and to rest and take plenty of fluids. There's no cure type thing, or the common cold, if you think about the common cold. And because most pharmaceuticals are water-based, they find it difficult to enter the cell wall. Whereas essential oils are oil-based, it's the immune system of the plant, like I've mentioned, so it finds it very easy to move through the cell wall. So that's why they're so effective at working and will work so quickly within our bodies. They work in harmony with our cells in our body, and they work to get in there and deal with that virus straight away and combat the issues that you're dealing with. So that's why I had that experience when my daughter had the flu and my son had the flu. That's why it was able to work so quickly. Whereas if I was doing things like I was doing before, like maybe herbal teas or different things with the children or myself, it would take a lot longer. It would take a week or so because it wasn't penetrating the cell in the same way because it was water-based, fluid-based. So it's just important for you to understand the importance of us protecting our wellness in general and how the essential oils actually affect us within the body and how they're able to combat viruses, infections, diseases, and different things as well. Okay, so our family essentials kit. So we're going to go through individual oils. We're going to go through 10. We have many essential oils and not time to go through all of them today. So we're going to go through some of the main 10. And Sham's going to start. I'm going to hand over to her. So we're going to go through some of our blends and then go over some of our individual oils as well and their benefits. So I'm going to be handing over to you, Sham. However, I will keep rolling with the slides here.
Nice one, thank you. Okay, so the first oil that we're going to talk about is lemon, which is all things clean and fresh. Some of us might use it more for detoxing, especially just a whole lemon. Whereas when you use the lemon essential oils, I don't know if you can see. Can you see? It's kind of awkward when you can't see yourself.
I can see.
That's just a bottle of lemon. You know, it's quite clearly identified as a yellow color, sunshine color. Yeah, so using the lemon essential oil is quite good to use as opposed to using a whole lemon because the citrus can really affect the enamel on your teeth. So lemon actually is extracted from the rind, so it's not as aggressive on your teeth as normal lemon. It's can be used with honey, you know, for the as a hot toddy, help soothe your dry throat. You can use it to neutralize odors and elevate mood. You could use it as a cleaning product, and you heard Charmaine mention about toxic overload. So when we talk about dealing with things naturally, it isn't just about oils, it is about our environment as well, because we're all exposed to all these different toxins, and you really want to work on that when you're looking at your health and your well-being. So using an oil like lemon, you can create your own cleaning product. So you can add it to some water and have like a glass bottle. Sorry, I haven't got one to show you, mine broke, but a spray bottle in glass, not plastic. And you can create your own spray bottle, multi-purpose cleaner. You can add white vinegar to it, bicarbonate of soda, and create your own natural cleaning solution. You can take it internally. It helps to detoxify and acts as an antioxidant. One other thing I want to say, because when we look at oils, all of the oils have an emotional profile, and citrus oils can be quite uplifting. I mean, they're true to form as far as they go. When you smell them, it's always a uplifting scent that you're going to get that kind of sunshine feeling. And just to read a few of the emotions that are helpful, you can help with with negative emotions by eliminating confusion, helping to focus more, dealing with mental fatigue, supporting yourself joyfully, bringing more upliftment, even learning issues, guilty feelings, and feeling disengaged. You can bring more focus, more energy, mental clarity, and you know, or overall well-being. So that's just a few comments to make about the emotional support that lemon can bring. Thank you, Charmaine. Can you, next one? You can, oh, peppermint. Good old peppermint, cool and invigorating, which you can use with lemon in water for a healthy and refreshing mouth rinse. So that can mean, you know, naturally your own natural mouth rinse, none of these alcohol-based formulas that you tend to find in mouthwashes. You can inhale peppermint deeply to invigorate your lungs and increase alertness. You can add it to water in a spray bottle and mist over your body. So I tend to have clients who are going through the change, and so dealing with those hot flushes, you can drip it on the back of your down on your spine, and it is a great coolant. It helps with fever. I used it with my dad before he transitioned. Wasn't able to give him anything orally, but using the peppermint on his spine helped to bring down the fever, because we know we want the fever to come down slowly and not in a rush. So you can apply it to your neck and to your forehead, with lavender to calm tension. And also you can use it with lavender to ease pain, quite effective as well when you use it with the lavender for headaches as well. The other thing to say about peppermint, it is so powerful that 1 drop is equivalent to 28 cups of tea. So again, you have the option of having it to help with nausea as well, and all round well-being, really. Do you want to go to the next one? So lavender, all things calming, and you can diffuse it in the room or apply topically to calm anxiety and soothe emotions. So again, applying it on the soles of your feet is really effective. We see a lot of cases where people have sleep issues. So lavender is always the first line that we would suggest, by using it on the soles of your feet, using it on your spine, using it behind your in your lymph node areas, just behind your ears, around your neck, just to relax down the body. You can use it to soothe irritated skin and lips, massage on your back, on the bottom of your feet, as I told you, at pillow time, and apply a drop to your pillow at bedtime, and also use it immediately to help with bugs, any reactions to any insects. The other thing you know about lavender is that lavender can act as a coagulant, so it helps the blood, you know, to soothe any ailment, any cuts or grazes or any burns. Particularly we heard about, well, when I first joined doTERRA, it was spoken about a scientist who burnt his hand, and he put his hand, what he thought was in water, and he put it in a big kiln of lavender, and it just helped to soothe the burning sensations. So lavender is really, really, really effective for all reasons, all round, really, as far as all things calming and soothing are concerned. Next one, please. Melaleuca. So Melaleuca is the first aid for the skin. You can apply it to the skin as part of a daily cleansing program. You can add it to your shampoo or to your conditioner for healthy scalp and hair, and apply to your feet and toenails after showering and swimming and working out. So I should say that Melaleuca's other name is tea tree. It comes from the tea tree that's in Australia, and it's very antifungal. So when it talks about using it on your toenails, etc., you get those issues with your toes, fungal issues. You can also use it as part of a regime for mold and fungi. So again, you can use a glass bottle, and I've seen in the chat where someone's asking about glass bottles, and we can tell you where is best to get all of the accessories from. You can pick that up at the end. But yeah, you can add it to some solution and create your own antifungal kind of solution to help with those spores that come up in different areas of your house.
Good.
Next one. And oregano. So that acts as a natural immune support, and you can really get to work on your on supporting your immune system by adding it into a veggie capsule, as Charmaine showed you earlier. They just unscrew and you literally just drop it in, and then you screw it back together. And because it's all plant-based, it breaks down. It's not gelatin, it's pure plant-based. Well, the ones that we will recommend for you anyway are, and you can take that, you'll only take that for 5 days, right, Charmaine?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have a break from that. And yeah, it is really quite effective. I remember using it on my partner when he had a fever as well. But it is a very hot oil. It's hot to the touch. So you do need to use, you know, a fair amount of dilution. As Charmaine explained earlier, you use a fractionated coconut oil or avocado oil. It's quite effective, but you definitely need to dilute. And you would use it on the soles of your feet for the kids and for adults as a natural defense, and also as a monthly cleansing regime for your gut health as well.
Yeah, just to add that oregano and thyme oil is a natural antibiotic, so they're very powerful against viral infections, colds and things, more serious things. Very, very, very powerful against it. You don't need to use very much of it. To be honest, I had my first bottle for 2 years before I had to change it. So only probably more recently I've had to use my oregano a little bit more often. And I tend to mix with thyme as well. It's good to switch them around ever so often, but just to add that.
Yeah, we have seen some scientific trials that show oregano up against amoxicillin. So we know that it has some high properties in there that work as an antibiotic.
Perfect. Yeah.
Back to you.
Thank you. Got people coming into the waiting room, sorry. Still got people joining us. So deep blue. So we're going to be talking about some of our blends now as well. So deep blue is a very, very powerful blend of oil, great for muscle and joint support. That particular essential oil has a wonderful mix of oils that are great for supporting any pain in the joints and the muscles, anything like if it's like exercise, so it could be exercise, it can be quite, we have a rub as well, which I don't know where mine is to show you, but we have the oil and the rub. So a rub comes in a cream form, makes it easy to use. So if you work out a lot and you're dealing with lots of muscle pain, it's good. If you're dealing with anything like arthritis, anything in the pain in the joints, it's fantastic for that as well. Yes, you can apply it onto occasional tired joints, rub on the muscles before and after exercise. Oh, can we mute? Sorry if your mic's unmuted. Can you mute for me, please? Trying to have a quick look. That's it. Awesome. So rub on your muscles before and after exercise to reduce discomfort, and use the carrier oil for therapeutic deep tissue massage. So it's fantastic for that. Also, Sharma was mentioning earlier that the peppermint and lavender are good for headaches. So you would just rub that on the area issue on the head. But if you suffer from more significant headaches or migraines, deep blue would be the go-to. Children, I would stick to lemon and lavender because deep blue is quite strong. So some of the ingredients in deep blue are wintergreen, which is what they actually use to make aspirin out of. Roman chamomile, blue tansy, which is great for kind of anti-inflammatory type benefits. Lovely, lovely oil, fantastic for any pain. So headaches, cramps, so women with period pains, fantastic, and tummy area. So I would go for clary sage and deep blue during that time. Clary sage is a lovely oil for hormone balancing as well. Any backache, joints, anything like that, deep blue is definitely a go-to. Wonderful around any pain in the body. I've had pregnant clients who haven't been able to take, or not wanting to take, paracetamol, and they say you shouldn't really take things during pregnancy anyway, who've been able to use deep blue, like weren't sleeping because they had really bad shoulder ache, and have been able to use deep blue for aches and pains, and later in pregnancy and things like that as well. So very, very effective. So then, like I said, if you had a headache, for example, go for the peppermint and lavender as your first option. And if it's not effective, the deep blue will certainly do it. Very, very good for headaches. Again, if it was a headache, you just rub across the forehead and the temple. I've even used deep blue for When I hurt my ankle, I used Deep Blue. And even when I had my wisdom teeth taken out, I had to go to surgery, so I had to be put under for those particular wisdom teeth that had to come out. And I don't like taking a lot of pharmaceuticals, I just don't. So I had the option of paracetamols they gave me and some ibuprofen, and I needed to take these every 4 hours for about a week or so. And I didn't really want to do that, but it was very painful. So I would take the ibuprofen in the morning too, and then every 3 hours using the Deep Blue. And I had to mix it down with carrier oil because it's quite a sensitive area here as well. But that was effective for me. That works. So I wasn't taking 5 or 6 pharmaceuticals a day. I was just taking it alongside my Deep Blue. So I took it in the morning, and the rest of the day I was fine. And that was really effective for me. So it's just about working with things. And for the most part, you can take this alongside pharmaceuticals if you're on pharmaceuticals, and they're very safe. But we have a list of things that we have to be mindful of as well. So you can always catch up with us if you have specific needs as well. Okay, so breathe, which is known as air now, that should read, changing the names. So that's a lovely blend of oil, which is fantastic for this season and the winter season. So we tend to use it for colds and things like that. It's great for opening up airways. So apply topically to maintain clear airways and breathing. So breathe has a mixture of peppermint, eucalyptus, everything that's kind of going to really open up the airway and opening us up for nice clear breathing. Fantastic for anyone dealing with anything like asthma, for example. So we've got some great testimonials from colleagues who've had children and adults dealing with asthma who don't have to take the asthma pumps as much because they're using the breathe, especially around the chest. Fantastic for that as well. Diffuse and add to dehumidifier for bedtime or for more restful sleep. Hay fever season, so I'm going to talk about hay fever a bit anyway. Again, you can use that as well for opening up airways. Apply to the chest or the feet for seasonal respiratory discomfort, so anything you're dealing around that. And to mention hay fever season, a lot of people might have been experiencing some of that at the moment. So you've got your tree pollen, which is anybody who've had anything in the last couple of weeks since the blossoms have been out will be noticing that. I've always suffered from hay fever. It's got better through the years. And I've noticed the children starting to sneeze and things like that. So what we tend to use is a mixture of 3 oils that we've mentioned already. So that's peppermint, lemon, and lavender. You can use that oil in a rollerball, make up a glass rollerball for yourself and use that on just as you go every 3 hours. Or you can use Tri-Ease. So I've got that here. So that's the capsules for adults more so. And it's the mixture of those oils and the capsules. So I would take those. If you're a grass pollen person, you might not notice that your hay fever starts to be as bad until June, July time. Or you might be someone who has it all the way through. But you tend to find that the tree pollen people tend to get it at the April kind of times a little bit earlier. So it's fantastic of that. And we've got other essential oils that are great for hay fever. And what we usually find, if something doesn't work, there's always something else that's really beneficial. Another thing I do for hay fever season is nettle. So especially for the children, I would do like stinging nettles. So you chop them up. You can buy nettles like just natural herbs and boil them up. Then I add the essential oils with some local honey, if possible, and then make them into ice lollies. So the combination of nettles, the oils, and the local honey is fantastic for supporting around hay fever. Again, I've got somebody here. Yeah, so if you've got that around hay fever, and if you've got little ones, it's easier to get it into them. So again, you can use it topically as well. It's really beneficial. Can I ask people to mute again? I've got some people coming off of mute. Oh, I can do it, but hopefully you're hearing me and you can put yourself on mute. Perfect. So Digest Zen, this is a very popular one for my particularly my pregnant ladies that I work with and their newborns. Anything to do with the gut, any gut issues or disruptions around the gut itself, Digest Zen is fantastic. Sorry, I can hear someone else still on. Let's have a quick look. Okay, all done. Sorry. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, fantastic for anything around the stomach, any issues you're having. So this anything from nausea, motion sickness here. It could be constipation. It could be diarrhea. It could be for little babies. It's colic. Any digestive issues, trapped wind, indigestion as well. Heartburn's a big one. Again, you can have this topically or internally as well. You might find it a bit more beneficial internally. A lot of my pregnant ladies, I tend to go for it topically, unless they've got really serious heartburn, and literally rubbing it on the tummy and up where you feel the heartburn, right in the area, is really effective. Usually I find when I use Digesten, there's also capsules of them. I usually only have to take it once and it sorts it out. I very rarely have to use it every 2-3 hours. So very, very powerful mixture. Got peppermint in there, cardamom, fennel, all these good oils that are really supportive for the tummy. Apply to the bottom of the feet for children to help ease digestive issues. And like with my children, if they're unwell, they'll say, "Mummy, can I have an oil for my tummy?" They know kind of what's going on. So I would always rub it on there. Again, rub it on area issue or under the feet as an option. On Guard, definitely one of my favorite oils, and it's one I'm not really without at the moment at all through this whole time. On Guard, natural self-defense, fantastic oil to deal with any issues. It kind of takes bacteria out of the air, so it's fantastic when we're diffusing. So when I go back to my teaching again, I'll be luckily going back to teaching off of Zoom. My pregnancy yoga students, I will be diffusing it in the room because it actually takes bacteria out of the air. It dilute to spray into a spray bottle for doors, knobs, telephones, and community services. So I use the On Guard solution that you get from Doterra in the glass bottle that Sharma was mentioning earlier, with some lemon or another oil that I use, Purify, and I use that for cleaning my surfaces, the whole house. And it's really natural, really pure, but really effective because it's a very, 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 very powerful. And On Guard is so good at dealing with bacteria. Bacteria finds it hard to go back onto the space where On Guard is used. So that's how powerful it is. You can dilute and gargle for morning, night, for protective mouth rinse. It's really good for teeth. So if you had any kind of toothache, you can use it on the tooth. You might do something like oil pulling. So oil pullings when you're using coconut oil to kind of gargle around the mouth, and then usually say spit in your toilet, don't spit down your sink because it can coagulate down there. But you can add On Guard in there if you're having anything around the teeth or gums. Fantastic for that. Take several drops into an empty vegetable capsule for added for immune support. It's so good for immunity and support. Like I said, that's one that I'll be diffusing. That's what I use for cleaning. That's what I use to protect us, and the children, my children. I work part-time as a key worker, and my children in school for vast majority of lockdown. So they would have that under their feet before they go to school, and I diffuse it at night before they go to bed. Vast majority of the nights, unless something else is going on and then I need to get them to calm and sleep, I might pick lavender or something more calming for what they need, but very, very, very beneficial. Frankincense, and finally is our king of oils. Beautiful, beautiful oil, frankincense. It's called the king of oils for a reason, because you can use it for vast majority of the things we've mentioned today. It's very, very powerful oil. So it's used to clean and soothe minor cuts and scrapes, like we've mentioned, similar to lavender. Used with the carrier oil for beautiful, radiant skin, so fantastic for the skin. We find that frankincense is in a lot of our doTERRA skincare, which I love. And if I run out of skincare or something, I haven't got my new thing, I tend to use the frankincense with something on my face as well. Apply to the bottom of your feet, use internally to support immune function, so fantastic for our immunity. Lavender with lavender and peppermint to use to calm stress and tension, and when in doubt, you can go to frankincense, sorry, for a use. It's very powerful. It's the only essential oil that can pass the blood-brain barrier. So obviously, nothing can usually pass that space because our brain's protecting itself, and lavender can. So what you tend to find is if you suffer from things like brain fog and need some clarity or need to focus around study, or you've got teenagers who are studying for exams and things like that, frankincense is great to diffuse and great to put onto the head as well for clearing. If you're someone who's quite spiritual and likes to connect with kind of meditations and things like this, frankincense frankincense is quite powerful for that as well. And Sharma was mentioning earlier, knowing families and things and people that we know dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's and things. So we've heard great things around this, around supporting, getting some clarity back with our elders, using frankincense under the tongue, getting some memory back, getting some support. And this is just using what nature has given us. Nature is usually, I would say there's an oil for everything that you can imagine. And frankincense is one that is really, really powerful as supporting as a whole. So that's one. And we use this kit we like to call it Sharm said, a first aid kit. And we use that as a first aid kit so that we use it as a basis and our go-to. Like I say, I have cowpole in my fridge, but I very rarely have to use it with the children. Since that very first time they had the flu, I use peppermint for taking temperatures down, and I would use oregano and on guard to support them when they're unwell. And I never need to use it. Sometimes I've had to go to a doctor for an issue. So my daughter had conjunctivitis once in the eye, like pink eye. And I got a diagnosis from the doctor. And she was very fussy. She didn't want the antibiotic drops in her eyes. So I use lavender and tea tree oil under her feet, obviously because you can't put anything in the eye, and that cleared up her conjunctivitis in the eye. So it's about using them as a foundation so we don't have to use pharmaceuticals so much, and also using them. The more you use the essential oils, the more you're actually building your immune system against things as well. So it's about us building a foundation to protect ourselves against many things that can come our way, and that's the beauty of using these really pure essential oils. So finally, just going on to some of our supplements that we use. So we have cleanses. So we tend to run cleanses once or twice a year. I think Mum's on, who's running a cleanse at the moment. And I run room cleanses as well. So we use these supplements. So you've got your Microplex, which is like your multivitamin. They have essential oils in it. So you've got to see these supplements like food, like natural organic food, rather than just some supplements. It's really important when you buy supplements and use supplementation that you have like a veggie capsule and powdered form. Many supplements on the market can be quite synthetic. So be mindful about how your body metabolizes things and what you choose to have as supplementation. But these are very, very powerful supplements, fantastic for giving us all our kind of vitamins and nutrients and minerals. Then we have our Zero Omega, which are either our fish oils, but we have a vegan version as well. So dealing with our joints, dealing with our brain function, with our omega complex. And then we have our alpha CRS. So earlier you heard me talk about our cells and how important they are. So the alpha CRS helps to support continuing to protecting those cells that are really supportive, and making sure that our cells are regenerating the way they should be and supporting us in that area as well. So these three is called our lifelong vitality pack. And like I said, it's like you taking organic food into your body. That's how you need to see these particular supplements, because they're that powerful and that beneficial. And if we're thinking about, people think, oh, I eat organic, I eat really natural food, our soil is depleted. We're not getting the nutrients from our foods. We're getting some nutrients, of course, but not the same that our great grandparents were getting from the soil at the time because of the over farming of things. So this is why supplementation is really important, and in particularly in those cleanse periods. So moving on. Oh, anything to add, Sham? Was that okay?
No, the chat's absolutely popping off. So
okay, we're going to get into questions. I'm just going to quickly round up with how you can purchase oils and what you can get. So we've got various options. We have our kind of retail accounts, and then we have our customers accounts. So most of my customers will get a customer account, but we can send a link out. I will send my link out, and you can actually just get retail and buy your individual oils like that if you wish, but you don't get the benefits of being one of our customers, where you get 25% off of all your products. So the one option you can do is you can pay £28 to be a customer, and that's where you get all the benefits of 25% of all your products, or Doterra products, for the next year. You will have access to a back office or a shop's front where you can just purchase your oils at will. But a really beneficial way of getting the oils is the kits I've mentioned. So you've got the Family Essential kit here, which is £112. So you get every oil I've mentioned today to get you started. Like you said, you've got many more, but those are the first one. I'm trying to find a small bottle. So this is the smaller bottle. This is the 5 ml bottle you'll get. And this has got around 85 drops in this kit. So that's a starter kit. That you get that little booklet that's up there as well, that Doterra Essentials booklet that will come with that as well. And I'll talk about some of the other benefits you get from being a customer as well. Or you can have our Aroma Touch kit as well, which is £151. You'd get the carrier oil and a cold air diffuser with that kit, as well as we've got 8 of our essential oils there as well. And then you've got our Home Essentials kit, which is the kit I started with, and I do recommend that one because you get the bigger bottles. So you get 250 drops in essential bottle. And remember, I said you only need 3 drops. So unless you're using it all a lot, you're not going to run out very quickly. You'll get the booklet again, and you'll get the and then you get a cold air diffuser to use with that kit as well. So you have a few options available to you that you have to go through that process. Again, you get that 25% off. All our customers also are able to connect with our oil camp. So there's continued learning for our customers that are free, for you to get continuous learning through the process and support, and anything you're unsure of and things that you need support with, you can also get that as well. I'm going to grab my books as well. And Sham, you're going to speak, so I'm going to let you have a chat while I grab my books before I move on. Just bear with me a moment, because Sham, I'm going to let you carry on. Is it something about this, or should I just finish it up? Is something about this part, Sham?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Just to say, because I might have misinterpreted what you said about the oil bottle sizes. So in the kit, is smaller. 5.
Yeah. So the Family Essential kits are a smaller bottle. So the Family Essential kit, which is £112, you get. Let me show you the difference. So you've got the smaller bottle, that's 85 drops, and then you've got your bigger bottle for the bigger kits, or sorry, the £246 kit, or again, which is 250 drops in those bottles. Just in case anybody wasn't clear, but that might be a question that comes up, so it's fine. So that is that, and then finally, it's just my contact information. Sham's going to finish up with some information to share with you guys as well, but this is just how you can contact me. I email info@naturesthejetty.com. You find me on Instagram at Charmaine_Heket. I tend to be on there more than Facebook, but you can still get me on Facebook as well, Charmaine Heket Murray. Or my website is www.naturesthejetty.com. And a big thank you for everybody listening in. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And let Sham finish off, and then we're going to get into some questions, get through some of these questions as well. So just bear with me a moment. Get to my... Sorry, guys. Sean, you had hand raised again. Go ahead while I'm trying to...
Sorry, no, no, cancel.
I'm just trying to stop my share, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm just, have you stopped the sharing?
Yeah, I have now.
I've got a couple of questions, guys. I can see them coming up now that I've moved into...
Should we go into questions?
Mode. So I don't know if you want to take control of that in the chat, or you might want to deal with it as one so that everybody else can hear it. I'm still disabled, Han.
Oh, can you see everything? I've stopped sharing, I think. You still got...
Yeah, still, it's not letting me. So you can just stick it up for me.
Okay, I'm going to do it for you. Just have a quick chat while I grab it out of my emails.
Okay, so in the chat, yes, oils can be bought separately. You can contact Charmaine or myself about ordering. Thank you for attending, Dee. Can you list which oils are in the Aroma Touch kit? Well, because I mentioned earlier that I do a service called Aroma Touch Technique, I can tell you what's in the kit. It's balance. So you get 2, 4, 6, 8 oils. You get balance, which is a grounding oil. It's a proprietary blend. So it's a mixture of frankincense and lavender, some other really, really nice Buddha wood. Some of the oils are really indigenous. They're not commonly known, but we call that the grounding blend. Lavender's in it, melaleuca, which I told you about earlier, which is tea tree, On Guard, which you heard about, which is the protective blend that you can use for oral care and all-round immune support. It's got Aroma Touch in it, which is a massage oil blend. Again, it's a blend of a number of different oils put together, but that could also help to support pain. You get Deep Blue in it, which you heard about, which is an oil that helps to support chronic pain issues and muscular issues, as you know, really intense pain like arthritis. You would not use that if you are on blood thinners, because it contains oil called wintergreen, which is a natural blood thinner. It has wild orange in it, which is one of the citrus oils, and you heard about citrus, so you can take that to have a very similar profile as lemon, and it mixes very nicely with peppermint, which is also in the kit as well. And you heard about peppermint, which is a good decongestant, good for nausea, fever, and can support those hot flush moments, and as well can work for hay fever. So that's what's in the Aroma Touch kit.
Sham, when you're ready. Ready when you are.
Yeah. Sorry, did anyone else? Oh, I thought someone had something to ask.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, you can switch me on. So I'm just going to give a little overview of the service that I provide that I mentioned earlier when I spoke about scans and health scans and what that's all about. Yeah, you can just go for the second one, please. The next one. Yeah. So this is just an overview of what the process is all about, and it starts here. I guess you can't see my arrow as I'm pointing to it, but the big hand cradle is a starting point of where you just rest your hand on the cradle, and it literally is just a plate that then moves on to the next stage, which shows the scanning process. So it picks up on the pulses that are in your hand, basically, and then it measures the energy and how the body is working with the energy in your various parts of your organs, your glands, and your systems. Then once the scan is finished, a report is produced, and you can see that here where it says health scan report, and you can see all of the dots on the outside and the dots on the inside. We're looking at in and out, in range and out of range readings. And together we look at the priorities that come up within the scan, and the scan report produces items that are that will provide the best support for your body. And those items could be oils, they could be supplements, and they could also be services as well that might be supportive to help with any specific challenges that you might be going through. So this system, this scan service is a service that I provide. People can have this service remotely. So the cradle can be sent to you, and a number of steps are followed through to allow you to have your scan, and then we discuss it remotely, just as we would do face-to-face, but also there is the option to have a face-to-face scan. And if anyone would like a scan, you can contact me directly to book that. And yeah, we can book you in for a consultation, a one-to-one discussion about your health profile, and then we move on to the scan, and then we start to look at the priorities there.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions?
Perfect. So I'll stop sharing now, Sham, so we can get into the questions.
Sorry, actually, can we go back to my card, my business, my details?
Yeah, I think I can go.
Although it's showing on the screen at the top. But I have got
come up the top right, yeah? Top left,
yeah,
I mean.
I don't know if you can all see it, but anyway, you can always get access to us.
Yeah, just message me if you haven't been able to grab that, or take a quick screenshot or anything of that information, but you can get access to us, any messages, like I said, we can get in touch. I'm going to stop sharing so we can get into our questions, because I heard there's quite a lot in here. So I'll just start with the chat, and then anybody can unmute and ask questions as well. I'm going back up. Did you cover some of the questions, Sham, or not yet?
I did. I actually did.
Where did you get to?
So, do you sell diffusers?
Yeah.
I do have an inventory as well. I sell portable diffusers, ones that you can just hook up with your USB. You can use them in your car. You can use them near your desk, and you can plug them in as well. But we can recommend good diffusers, you know, bigger ones that you might want to use for your home. Okay. There are a few out there that are quite good.
Thank you. The 3 oils that I used for my children were oregano oil as a natural antibiotic. So because it was flu, that was a must have, or you could use thyme. The other one was On Guard, like I was mentioning to you earlier, how that deals with bacteria, protecting the body, environmental threats, great for cleaning as well, and peppermint. So peppermint was used for bringing down the temperature, like I said, as long as I saw that that fever was breaking within 4 hours for my daughter then, because she was a lot younger, and anyone of any age really, at least 4. You don't want a fever to be going on further than 6, but we shouldn't continuously try to inhibit a fever, because a fever is trying to do its job, but we want to make sure that we're safe as well, because fever can be dangerous. So it's about being mindful, but as long as you're seeing a fever break every 4 hours or so, then that's okay. So peppermint is for cooling. Peppermint can be used for things like hot flushes and things as well, women dealing with menopause and perimenopause, and just being hot in general. It's good for cooling us, but definitely for fever. So those are the 3 oils I use there. And all the oils can be purchased through us. Like I said, you can just be a retail customer, but you don't get the 25% discount of all products, or a general customer that have a customer account. I'm just going to get through some of these questions as well. I'm going to say as well that there is a business opportunity alongside this. So after we finish the questions, if you want to stay on to find out more about that, please do. And I'll talk a little bit about like that, but I'm just going to get through the questions. Anyone who just wants to focus on kind of customer stuff, you can leave if you don't want to hear all the stuff about business. But if you're interested in that, please stay on. I purchased one from Tisserand, frankincense 100% pure. Peppermint. Will peppermint help with thinning hair? So with hair, there might be various oils that we can use to support. So peppermint's fantastic for hair, and so is rosemary oil. But we have our books as well that we have, which I'm going to grab in a minute, that will tell us about specific oils. Great, Sean, perfect. This is why it's great to have a handy person there. So we have various oils. We have our modern essentials, and we also have, that's our modern essentials. What's that one, Sean? Was that?
No, this is Essentials for Life. This is my Bible. Everyone has their preference about what kind of book or resources they want to use. I love using this. It lists all of the oils. Yeah, I have both as well, but I do like this. It lists all of the oils, all of the properties in them. It shows you how to work with other oils, what oils blends well with others. It's got a few protocols in there. So if you want to refer to specific health challenges, or health challenges, or you want to support your well-being, you can refer to this book. I love it. I think it's just really brilliant. It gives you some good ideas. And so we can't always say specifically what oils will work for you, because everyone's molecular structure is different. As I said, the scan provides some insight. It really is a guide. It's not a diagnosis. It is a guide, and it will give you some of the key oils that are showing as most coherent for you at the time of you having the scan. So that provides a very good guide in terms of, you know, what priorities you want to work on as far as your health and your well-being is concerned. But yeah, when we're talking about individual situations, we might want to look at the root of them, and we might also want to look at the emotional profile, because emotions is the underpinning factor to most physical manifestations. So it's always important to look at the emotions as well as the physical side of things.
Brilliant. And I see that, did I use deep blue enough? So no, that's a good point. So deep blue is one of the oils that we do not take internally. So vast majority of our oils are fine to take internally, but deep blue and winter green, we do not take internally. So again, we can let you know the oils. There's not many that you don't, but that is one of them. So I used it on the outside. So I use that on the outside. So I would use On Guard for gargling or things like that. That's fine internally. And then I would use the deep blue outside. That was for the pain. What is good for bleeding gums? So bleeding gums, so the oils that kind of spring to mind for that for me would be the On Guard, because that's really great for the gums. Do you know any more good for bleeding gums, Sham? Do you know any more? Lavender would be good as well, because lavender,
I guess it's soothing. Yeah. I guess I'd make a solution with the with maybe even some Himalayan salt.
Yeah, definitely.
That's another thing I have I do have that in my inventory as well. I'm a wellness advocate, so I'm going to be promoting products that are of a high grade naturally alongside the essential oils. So yeah, all day, every day On Guard. I myself are going through periodontal treatment, and On Guard toothpaste is what I use all day, every day, as well as the oil pulling, which might be effective as well. Maybe not for bleeding gums, but just general oral care with tea tree as well. You heard us mention it, and it's called Melaleuca. So that's also antiseptic. So yeah, that's why we're going down. But oral, definitely On Guard I would stick with, because it's the constituents are specific for oral well-being.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Sham. Next question was, I have a chronic cough and Breathe may be good. So Breathe would be a good one for your chronic cough. I would also add Melaleuca in there, which is fantastic for coughs as well. And potentially some On Guard as well. So again, we probably have to look at kind of some of the root causes. Usually we have a cough because something's trying to come off the chest, so maybe build up of mucus, etc. But it's usually something trying to come off the chest, especially if it's persistent. So again, we'd want to look at case by case. Again, all of our people enrolling, all of our customers who come to us, we have a wellness consultation, so you're not kind of just left to get on your own. It's a learning process. We've all kind of learned and support each other to grow. So we do wellness consultation with you. A lot of that is happening on Zoom and things like that now because of what's going on. But we used to do those kind of things face to face as well, depending on where you are. But yeah, you have a wellness consultation. We'll look at any issues that you have and family have, and then we can see what oils will support you best. Again, if you want some more specific stuff going on, you might go to Sham for the scanning, because there's something specific going on as well. But all our customers get that kind of additional support. What's good for migraine? The deep blue. So the oil or the rub, I would say possibly the deep blue rub, again on the head and the forehead, especially migraine because it's more specific. The peppermint and lavender is more for tension headaches. Migraines would be the deep blue essential oil. Peppermint and lavender would be suggested. Oh, perfect. Oh, sorry, you've answered the question, Sean.
Yeah, I'm to pick up on one. What do you recommend for cold hands? Well, that's like a circulatory issue, so we'd want to understand what's going on in the body system. But I know that there are oils like clove. Clove oil might be quite effective, as well as maybe even On Guard, because On Guard has got the oil, has got clove in it as well, and cinnamon, some warming oils. So yeah, again, looking at the root cause of the cold hands. Why are we seeing cold hands? That's something to better understand. But yeah, those are the oils that might be able to help. Bleeding gums, your dentist said that you could be resolved using plastic toothpicks. Well, as someone going through periodontal treatment, I would be encouraging TPs. So as well as the oils that are helpful, as well as the mouthwash and oil pulling as well, definitely flossing all day, every day. Making sure that the sizes are correct to go through the different sections of your teeth, because you've got gaps and stuff if you do have. I don't really do plastic. I do the TPs. Yeah, but yeah, getting rid of the bacteria in between the teeth is key.
Perfect. I've got down to the diffuser question. So like I said, if you're not getting a diffuser with the kits, you can buy them individually as well. That's not a problem. Which also good for eczema. So for eczema, I would use a combination of the Melaleuca, tea tree, and lavender in particular. And I usually find that works really well with natural shea butter. So if you mixed it with three or four drops of each of the oils in about, I guess it depends on how much, but like if you'd make a little pot of the raw shea butter, really, really effective against, and a little bit of coconut oil in that mix as well. I wouldn't necessarily just use just coconut oil and the oils, because sometimes it can not be as effective, but the shea butter really helps to retain the moisture. So that's a really good mix if you're dealing with eczema. So that was the Aroma Touch oils, which are balanced Melaleuca, On Guard, Deep Blue, Wild Orange, Peppermint, Lavender, and Frankincense in there. So those who needed to know the Aroma Touch. How much is the consultation and the scan, Sham?
Yeah, so I'm talking directly to individuals about it, but that for this month, I can put it out there. Scans are offered at half price if you're having a full scan and you decide to get a kit. That's my promotional offer for this month. Also, just to add, and I forgot to mention that, again, everything is holistic, and I work at the other end, which means I start with the emotion. The scan picks up on emotions as well. So those emotions can come up as a stressor and an imbalance in the body. And also food scans are available as well as an option. So if you want to understand what foods may be providing the better end of nutrition, or foods that you shouldn't really be, that are not really serving you well, then the scan can provide that guide as well. So if anyone is interested in a scan, prices, etc., we can talk about that one-to-one.
Perfect. So contact Sham if you're interested in the scan, contact her directly. But if you come to me, I will pass you on. Customer account. So how it works is, for our customers, you're a customer for a year, and that gives you 25% off all Doterra products. Some people do pay as you go. Some people want to be a part of our monthly reward loyalty program, which I'll talk about later after we finish the questions. But after a year, what will happen is that it will charge you, it will ask you if you want to carry on with us, and then you pay an extra £15 for the next year, but you also get a free peppermint with that continued membership. So that's how it works with the it's like a rolling program. Again, some people will pay as you go if they want products, and other people will do a monthly reward program, and that's available to all customers. Could you put the author in the chat, please, of the book? Sham, can you do that for me in the chat?
Yeah, just to say that the book is really, it's worded, the references is to the oils that we're talking about today. So when you refer to it, I'm not sure how it works with other oils, but definitely the products that are referred to in here is connected to these oils and this product range. But anyway, it's called The Essential Life. I'll put it back in the chat. I think I did already. It doesn't say the author, it just says 5th edition. This is an old version. We're on the 6th edition now. But you can get this from the Essentials Oil Shop. I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you, Sham. What is good for detoxing the body? That's a whole other webinar. But the oils for detoxing would be kind of the citrus. So like your lemons, fantastic for detoxing. And you've got lime as well. We've also got Zendocrine complex. So if you're interested, I can send you a webinar that we've done on our cleanse and restore. So I can send you that if you're interested in that as well. So please contact me if you're interested in the cleanse webinar, and I can send you that, because we go into a lot of detail about the toxic load and things like that as well. But we're running cleanses at the moment, whether that's womb cleanse. I did the womb cleanse webinar last week. So those women, ladies who are interested in the cleanse for that specific reason, or guys or anyone else interested in just the general cleanse, that's the 30-day cleanse we run, dietary changes, and there's the supplements and oils, then get in contact. But if you just want a general oil for just a cleanse of the liver, general detox, lemon would be the one to go for. Let's have a look. Didn't catch the oil for eczema. Sorry, that would be Melaleuca, tea tree, and lavender in particular. And I would mix it with some shea butter and a little bit of coconut oil. If you can mix it, like get a hand blender and mix that together, that's really effective for eczema.
Someone's asking, when blending shea, is it okay to heat it?
I tend to not heat it. I tend to use like a power blender, hand blender with the really thick things, and not need to heat it. So I guess you could, but I would say just try to get a really good hand blender so that you can just do it. I use that in a like a Pyrex dish, and that does it just fine. Because if you're heating it, then you could be heating the oils. I guess you could do it before you put the oils in, but we don't really want to be heating the oils too much. How you spell it?
I do sometimes put it near a radiator, or yeah, I do sometimes do that to break it down a little bit.
Yeah, because it can be very, especially in cold weather, and it can be really thin. So you do have to break it down. And even before you use the blender, I tend to chop it up really small. I chop it up really small so that it can actually get so. And then when I put a little bit of, I put maybe a bit of castor oil or coconut oil in, that tends to make it more palatable. How are we spelling Melaleuca?
Yeah, I've done that.
I've done that. Perfect. Yeah. We do call it tea tree now, but historically we used to call it Melaleuca because it's from the Melaleuca tree. So not to worry, if you're purchasing online, it will say tea tree. If you're purchasing it from us, it will say tea tree now. How do I sign up? So I can send you a link, like I said, or you can get in contact with me. So if you're interested in doing the kits, please get in contact with me directly, and then we will work out how to get you to sign up and to register that way. We can just do it quickly over the phone. And I'll also send up my link for people who just want to do retail customers as well. But do get in contact with me if you're interested in signing up. I'll be around tomorrow and over the weekend. So just get in contact with me directly. We can get you sorted out. Our head office here is in Milton Keynes. So most people get their kits within 3 to 5 working days. Everything's very quickly. We don't hold stock. Everything comes from our head office, and that's a message sent directly to you. Toxic load webinar. Perfect. I'm gonna have to save this chat. Yeah, there's a lot of people on, so where possible, please message me. I'm seeing some messages come through, which is fine, but where possible, please get in contact with me, because just things might get lost in the chat. I'll try my best. But if you have just contact me by phone or DM or etc., then I can send anything out to you. Thank you. Bye, Karen. 3 people leaving here. That's fine. I've had a bit of a cold since yesterday, and I did more exercise the day before. I must be tired. What can I do to regenerate from your program? So with the cold will be, again, plenty of fluids into the body. So we're thinking about, often with the cold, it's our immune system, obviously, because that's why we caught the cold in the first place. It's not terrible to catch colds. That's one thing I will say. The concern of colds is when we're getting them repetitively, or if you're just getting over one and then having another one. So if you get 1 to 3 colds a year at separate times, that's actually building your immune system up against the virus, as it were, or that cold viruses. But if you're noticing they're coming quite a lot, then, and they're not always, you don't really feel great when you're getting colds as well. So again, if we want to support yourself, air is a fantastic blend to use. I would use some On Guard as well to support around the cold. You might want to be opening up with eucalyptus, but there's eucalyptus in air. So if you just got the air and some On Guard, having those blends, you would have everything you kind of need. On the chest, I would say as well, to help with the airway, and then just supporting yourself and building up your immune system. And then for general build up of immune systems, the supplements are, so I'd say everybody, for your cells, for your immune systems in general, the supplements are really, really good to have as well. And that will support in general.
Can I just add the question about the eczema? Separate to the oils, you might want to have a better look at what's going on internally and the diet as well. Yeah. There's a lot to be said about the gut, and you heard about Zengest, and that is the oil that helps to support your gastrointestinal, your gut. Yeah. And you really want to protect the gut, because 70% of your immune system sits in your gut. And so when we're, even in the climate we're in now, we want our guts to be working well. Yeah. And we want to look at the food that we're eating that can stop your gut from working well, because when your gut's not working well, you're not creating the right nutrients. You're not uptaking the right, you're not taking in, the food is not going in the right way and converting to give you the nutrients that you need. So the gut is key to immunity, really. So even though there are oils that everything can be done topically, we want to look at things internally and look at what you're using on your skin, what you're putting in your body that is creating the skin to flare in the first place. So you do remember that things are holistic. And so the oils 100%. Will help your body to do what it needs to do, but there are other things that go with it as well.
100%, that's 100% correct. The oils are very, very powerful. So you can almost get a full sense of security sometimes when we're dealing with stuff, but you must deal with stuff inside. It's a good place to start though, and then we can build forward. You don't have to buy a kit. You can buy 1 or 2 oils. So I would say if you just want 1 or 2 oils, like I said, there's a different cost price with the oil. So for example, a frankincense on its own could cost £60 because how it's made and from the rind, whereas lavender and the citruses will be like, the lavender will be like £18 and the citruses will be like £7. So it depends on what you're getting. Sometimes you get more value about getting the kit, but if you just wanted 1 or 2 oils, then also do contact us, because you can just get your customer account and then we'll just add 1 or 2 oils onto that, and then you just pay for those oils that you want, and then you can kind of take it from there. And you can get, you can do, like you said, loyalty rewards program or pay as you go and buy oils as you go. So that helps you to budget as well. That's very good for that. I just want the frankincense and On Guard. Is it better to join your subscription and buy these? Yes. So if you just want the frankincense, and like I said, by the time you add those 2 up, to be honest, especially if you want the frankincense, it's a very different process. So for example, the frankincense that the way they deal with distilling the frankincense from the rind is that it takes around 180 hours to distill a bottle of frankincense of this size, and lavender in comparison takes an hour and a half. So as well as the product, so you're dealing with different types of crops, different types of things, and this is why there's different prices of the essential oils. So by the time you've done those 2 oils, in my top of my head, you're probably going to might be playing not too far from what you'd get from getting a kit of 10 of the smaller,
that's what I've just advised. Just for an additional 40 quid, you could get top 10 rather than
you could get the 10 for an extra £40 sometimes. So sometimes it's worth to look at that, but we can look at the exact price and then you can have a think.
There's always options.
There's options. So perfect. That's the end of the questions, unless anybody had a further question. And I'm just gonna stop recording now. But if there's any further questions, do let me know.